What if the most profound power lies not in position, but in an unbreakable mother's love? What if a single act of violence against a child could trigger an earthquake that topples the most fortified walls of authority? The morning sun, usually a cheerful beacon, felt cold and mocking as it streamed through the window of the principal's office. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a black woman of formidable intellect and quiet strength, sat across from Principal Thompson, her posture ramrod straight, her eyes betraying a controlled fury. Evelyn was a renowned astrophysicist, a single mother who had built a life of unwavering stability for her son, Marcus. Marcus, 14, was a bright, gentle soul, a budding artist who saw the world in vibrant colors. He was also on the autism spectrum, a fact Evelyn fiercely protected and advocated for, ensuring his school environment was safe and supportive, or so she thought. For more gripping tales from the hidden corners of justice and beyond, subscribe to Dark Side of Luna, where the shadows hold the truth. Yesterday, Marcus had come home from Northwood High School not with his usual quiet enthusiasm, but with a terror in his eyes that made Evelyn's blood run cold. His left eye was swollen shut, a grotesque bruise blooming on his cheek, and a small cut marred his lip. He was trembling, unable to speak coherently about what happened. All he could manage were fragmented words: hallway, boys, laughing, no one, help. Principal Thompson, a man known for his bureaucratic evasiveness, sighed, adjusting his tie. Dr. Reed, we're still investigating. It appears to have been an unfortunate incident, a scuffle between students. We're taking disciplinary action. Evelyn's gaze sharpened. A scuffle, Principal? My son, who avoids conflict at all costs, comes home with injuries that suggest he was beaten. And he says no one helped him. Where were the hall monitors? Where was the supervision? Thompson shuffled papers. Our staff is stretched thin, Dr. Reed. These things happen. He offered a weak, dismissive smile. Boys will be boys. Evelyn rose slowly, her voice a low, dangerous rumble. My son is not boys will be boys. My son is a vulnerable child who was assaulted on your watch, and your investigation feels like a cover-up. She could feel the anger rising, cold and precise. Who beat my son, Principal? And why was he left unprotected? Thompson's smile vanished. Dr. Reed, I assure you, we are handling it internally. We don't want to overreact and create unnecessary issues. Evelyn leaned forward, her voice dropping to an almost whisper, though it held the weight of a supernova. Principal Thompson, you have no idea what issues I am capable of creating when my son is harmed. This isn't just a scuffle. This is an injustice, and I will find out who did this and why. I will go through this school, through this district, and through every department until I get answers. Dr. Evelyn Reed walked out of Principal Thompson's office, the sterile air of Northwood High feeling oppressive. Her astrophysicist's mind, accustomed to dissecting complex universal phenomena, now focused with laser precision on a singular, earthly problem: the brutalization of her son and the infuriating wall of silence and dismissal. Boys will be boys, Thompson's words echoed, a dismissive platitude that fueled her growing rage. Her first stop was the school nurse's office. Nurse Henderson, a kind, older black woman, looked genuinely distressed. Dr. Reed, I recorded Marcus's injuries. Severe contusions, a minor concussion. It was more than a scuffle. They were extensive for a schoolyard fight. She hesitated, then lowered her voice. Marcus was found in the old gym hallway, near the unused locker rooms. It's a blind spot for cameras, a known area where bullying sometimes happens. I reported it to Principal Thompson and Coach Miller immediately. Evelyn's jaw tightened. So, they knew this was a high-risk area, and still no one was there? And Coach Miller? He's the head of discipline for that wing, Nurse Henderson confirmed, her eyes filled with sympathy. He was supposed to be doing rounds. Evelyn, a woman of science, understood evidence. She bypassed Principal Thompson and went directly to the school's head of security, demanding to review all surveillance footage from the day of the incident, not just the hallways, but surrounding areas, entrances, and exits. The security head, A nervous man named Mr. Davis initially stalled, citing privacy concerns. But Evelyn, with a cold, insistent logic, cited district policies and threatened legal action, forcing him to comply. She spent hours meticulously poring over grainy black and white feeds. What she found, chillingly, was a brief, obscured glimpse. Marcus, visibly distressed, being herded towards the old gym hallway by two much larger students, just out of frame. Crucially, she also found footage of Officer Derek Cole, the school resource officer, standing near the entrance of that very hallway at the approximate time of the incident, seemingly looking at his phone, then quickly walking away just moments before the beating occurred. Even more damning, a mandatory incident report that should have been filed by Coach Miller regarding Marcus's injuries was conspicuously absent from the online system, a clear attempt to downplay or bury the event. Evelyn didn't confront the SRO or Coach Miller directly. She systematically compiled her evidence. Marcus's medical report, the partial video footage, the missing incident report, and a detailed timeline. She then requested an immediate meeting with Superintendent Patricia Jenkins, known for her iron grip on the school district and her close ties to the city's political elite, and Police Chief Richard Hayes, whose department provided the SROs to the school and who often championed a tough-on-crime image. Evelyn knew she wasn't just fighting for Marcus anymore. She was fighting a system. Dr. Evelyn Reed walked into the executive conference room, her briefcase clutched firmly in her hand. Across the polished table sat Superintendent Patricia Jenkins, a woman with a reputation for being unyielding and politically savvy, and Police Chief Richard Hayes, an imposing figure whose career was built on maintaining a stern, unblemished public image. Both greeted her with a practiced, detached politeness. Evelyn didn't waste time on pleasantries. She laid out her meticulously organized evidence. Marcus's detailed medical report from the emergency room, the timeline she'd constructed, the printouts of the obscured surveillance footage showing Marcus being led towards the blind spot, and the irrefutable proof of Coach Miller's missing incident report. She presented it with the precision of a scientist detailing a groundbreaking discovery, leaving no room for ambiguity. Superintendent Jenkins picked up a printout, her expression unreadable. Dr. Reed, we understand your concern. As Principal Thompson informed you, we are investigating this unfortunate scuffle. Evelyn interrupted, her voice steady. Superintendent, Marcus's injuries were not a scuffle. They were the result of a deliberate assault. And the footage shows Officer Cole, your school resource officer, near the scene moments before. Coach Miller failed to file a report. This isn't an isolated incident. It's a breakdown of safety protocols and a clear attempt at a cover-up. Chief Hayes leaned forward, his gaze piercing. Dr. Reed, our SROs are highly trained professionals. Officer Cole assures us he saw nothing. Teenagers can be prone to exaggeration and scuffles are common. You're making serious accusations without concrete proof of an assault or a cover-up. Superintendent Jenkins then offered a chillingly dismissive solution. Dr. Reed, we appreciate your passion as a mother. To alleviate your concerns, we are prepared to offer Marcus a transfer to a different school in the district with a full scholarship. We can also provide private counseling. It would be a fresh start, away from any lingering unpleasantness here. The offer, presented as a gesture of goodwill, was clearly an attempt to silence her, to make the problem disappear quietly. Chief Hayes nodded in agreement, a faint, almost imperceptible smirk playing on his lips. They thought they were dealing with an emotional mother who could be bought off. Evelyn stared at them, her eyes hardening. A scholarship? To make this go away? My son was brutalized on your watch, in your school, under the protection of your officer, and your staff tried to hide it. This isn't about Marcus's comfort. It's about justice and accountability. And I will not be bought off. She paused, then added, furthermore, I've noticed a pattern. This isn't the first incident in that blind spot hallway, and the lack of transparency seems to extend far beyond this school. She pointed to a detailed map she'd included in her binder, highlighting other schools in the district with similar blind spots, and a suspiciously low number of reported bullying incidents compared to anecdotal evidence she discreetly gathered from other parents. She had begun to suspect a systemic directive to keep numbers low, regardless of reality. As Jenkins and Hayes attempted to dismiss her claims as conjecture and overreaction, Evelyn calmly reached into her briefcase and pulled out a small, almost imperceptible voice recorder. "For the record, gentlemen," she stated, her voice resonating with cold authority, "this entire meeting has been recorded. Every dismissal, every evasion, every attempt to minimize my son's assault, and your generous offer of a scholarship as hush money is now documented." But that wasn't her only ace. Evelyn, as a renowned astrophysicist, moved in powerful academic and professional circles. Unbeknownst to the superintendent and police chief, she had already retained the services of Aisha Sharma, a brilliant and notoriously aggressive civil rights attorney with a history of dismantling entrenched systems and a proven track record against school districts and police departments in high-profile cases. Aisha wasn't just a lawyer. She was a master strategist, known for leveraging technology and public opinion to expose corruption. Evelyn's meeting with Jenkins and Hayes was merely a formal discovery phase, gathering more evidence of their obstructive tactics. The real battle was about to begin, and Evelyn Reed had just declared war on an entire system. The quiet hum of Dr. Evelyn Reed's home office was now punctuated by the rapid-fire clicking of Aisha Sharma's keyboard. Aisha, sharp-suited and sharper-minded, had wasted no time. Evelyn's meticulously gathered evidence, the medical report, the partial video footage, the missing incident report, and the recording of the superintendent and chief's dismissive meeting, formed the bedrock of their offensive. "They underestimated you, Evelyn," Aisha stated, without looking up from her laptop. "They thought they could buy off an emotional mother. We're about to show them they messed with the force of nature." Their first move was a precisely timed legal salvo, a formal notice of intent to sue, detailing the assault on Marcus, the school's negligence, and the apparent cover-up by district and police leadership. This was leaked to a few trusted, investigative journalists simultaneously, ensuring immediate public scrutiny. The story of Marcus Reed, the bright autistic boy beaten in a school blind spot, became a national headline, galvanizing parent groups and disability advocates. Superintendent Jenkins and Chief Hayes, caught off guard by the speed and public nature of the attack, reacted with predictable fury. They publicly denounced the lawsuit as frivolous and a smear campaign, attempting to discredit Dr. Reed by leaking carefully selected, out-of-context snippets from Marcus's school records, hinting at behavioral issues, a common, insidious tactic used against neurodivergent children and their families. Officer Cole, the SRO, suddenly recalled seeing Marcus in a physical altercation initiated by him, a blatant lie designed to shift blame. Just as the district launched its public counter-narrative, Aisha Sharma's network delivered a bombshell. A brave, anonymous IT specialist from the school district, disgusted by the cover-up, risked their career to leak crucial internal data to Aisha. This wasn't just individual incident reports. It was access to the district's proprietary student safety incident tracking algorithm. This algorithm, ostensibly designed to flag high-risk areas, actually had a hidden subroutine. It deliberately suppressed, recategorized, or outright deleted non-severe bullying incidents, particularly those in specific undesirable zones like the old gym hallway. This manipulation was designed to artificially lower reported violence rates, ensuring district schools remained eligible for federal funding tied to safe school environments, and to protect the careers of administrators like Jenkins who prioritize statistics over student safety. The blind spots weren't accidents, they were built into the system, and the algorithm was designed to obscure the truth. The IT specialist data also revealed a deeper, more chilling connection. The same algorithm, in a separate module, communicated directly with the police department's SRO deployment software. It showed that Officer Cole and several other SROs were routinely reassigned away from these blind spots during peak bullying times. Furthermore, the data unveiled that the two students who beat Marcus, known troublemakers with a history of bullying, were actually part of an unofficial peer protection detail for the children of politically connected families and wealthy donors within the district. These favored students were subtly enabled by certain SROs and given leniency in exchange for maintaining order among other students, often through intimidation. This arrangement, implicitly sanctioned by Chief Hayes, allowed violent incidents against less privileged students, like Marcus, to go unreported or minimized, ensuring the safe school illusion was maintained for the elite. Marcus wasn't just a random victim. He was collateral damage in a corrupt system designed to protect a select few. Evelyn, armed with this explosive new evidence, felt a cold, righteous fury. This was no longer just about Marcus. It was about exposing a systemic betrayal of trust, a calculated endangerment of vulnerable children for political and financial gain. She and Aisha now prepared for their next, even more devastating move, a multi-pronged legal and public relations assault that would leave no room for escape. Superintendent Jenkins and Police Chief Hayes' desperate attempts to discredit Dr. Evelyn Reed had backfired spectacularly. Aisha Sharma's release of the student safety incident tracking algorithm data, exposing the manipulation of bullying statistics and the deliberate reassignment of SROs from blind spots, sent shockwaves through the city. The revelation that the students who beat Marcus were part of an unofficial peer protection detail for politically connected families, implicitly sanctioned by the police chief, ignited a firestorm of public outrage. This wasn't just about a school. It was about a system betraying its most vulnerable. The city council and mayor, facing unprecedented public pressure and the threat of federal intervention, convened an emergency, publicly televised hearing. Dr. Evelyn Reed, poised and unyielding, presented her evidence. Aisha Sharma dissected the district's algorithms and police protocols, revealing the layers of deception. The political fallout was immediate and devastating. Under intense scrutiny and facing a tidal wave of public demand for accountability, Superintendent Patricia Jenkins tendered her immediate resignation, followed swiftly by Police Chief Richard Hayes. Their resignations were not voluntary. They were the direct result of a calculated public and legal dismantling of their power. Principal Thompson and Officer Cole were also suspended pending internal and federal investigations, their roles in the cover-up now undeniable. But Evelyn and Aisha weren't satisfied with mere resignations. They launched a multi-front legal offensive. The lawsuit for Marcus's assault escalated, but now broadened to include systemic negligence and civil rights violations against the district and the police department. Federal prosecutors, spurred by the mounting evidence and public pressure, opened their own criminal investigations into corruption within the school district administration and the police force. The trials were landmark events, exposing the rot at the highest levels. The anonymous IT specialist bravely came forward, testifying about the data manipulation. Parents of other children who had suffered in blind spots for years, previously silenced by fear or dismissive officials, finally spoke out, their collective testimonies painting a damning picture. Dr. Evelyn Reed, the astrophysicist who became an unexpected warrior for justice, was the undeniable force behind it all. Her quiet strength, her relentless pursuit of truth, and her unwavering love for her son, Marcus, resonated deeply with the public. Her testimony, delivered with scientific precision and raw emotion, became a rallying cry for systemic change. The verdicts were absolute and resounding. Superintendent Jenkins and Chief Hayes were both found guilty of misconduct in public office, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to endanger children, receiving significant prison sentences. Officer Cole, Coach Miller, and other implicated individuals faced convictions for their direct roles in the cover-up and negligence. The two students who assaulted Marcus, while minors, faced appropriate legal consequences that included community service and restorative justice programs. Their parents held accountable for enabling their behavior. The city, scarred but resolute, embarked on a profound healing and reform process. Under new, ethically driven leadership, comprehensive changes were enacted. Abolition of secret algorithms. All student safety data systems were overhauled, made transparent, and subject to independent oversight, with a focus on genuine incident reporting. Mandatory SRO reform. School resource officer programs were completely restructured, emphasizing de-escalation, community engagement, and specialized training in neurodiversity, with strict accountability measures. Creation of independent oversight boards, for both the school district and the police department, comprised of parents, community leaders, and civil rights advocates. Marcus's Law, a groundbreaking state law named in Marcus Reed's honor, was passed, mandating immediate, transparent reporting of all in-school assaults, with severe penalties for any attempts at cover-up or data manipulation. It also established a fund for support services for student victims of school violence. The old gym hallway, once a place of fear, was completely renovated, transformed into a vibrant art therapy space for students. The street where Evelyn and Marcus lived, once just a quiet suburban road, became a symbol of a mother's fierce dedication and a community's triumph over corruption. Dr. Evelyn Reed never sought fame, returning to her beloved astrophysics, but her personal ordeal had transformed into a monumental victory for civil rights and educational integrity, demonstrating that even the most deeply entrenched systems can be reformed when faced with an unyielding demand for justice. And Marcus, he thrived, finding his voice and his art in a school that finally became a true place of safety and growth. For more gripping tales from the hidden corners of justice and beyond, subscribe to Dark Side of Luna, where the shadows hold the truth.